In preparation for the new game's release, HuniePop 2 Double Date, I wanted to take a deep dive into the original. HuniePop is a puzzle game disguised as a dating sim. All it takes to win over a girl is telling her what she wants to hear. It's like taking a personality quiz to see which Hogwarts house or Westeros kingdom you belong to, except you fudge all your answers so you just get your favorite. Even though the question and answer system isn't as deep as some of my other personal favorites, Crippled Dating Simulator, some characters truly shine. On the surface, you may think this is a simple match 3 puzzle game that keeps you playing with the promise of free hentai. A game where you play the hero, a lifelong virgin thrust into the world to become a stud, the manly man, the sexual dynamo that will change these women's lives forever. But what if I told you you were not a hero, and instead a villain in the eyes of one of these lovely ladies? A nightmare from which she cannot awake. You are a homewrecker, hell-bent on destroying what one woman has spent half her life to build. If you think that's crazy, well then, HuniePop may be too deep for you. In HuniePop, you play a newly eligible bachelor on the prowl. The game offers 9 girls from the start and 3 bonus characters that you can unlock later. For the most part, the cast is full of stereotypes. The girl next door, the hairdresser, the teacher, the bitchy girl, the nerd, the Asian, the MILF, cat girls, black girls, fairies, gods, aliens. Actually, it is quite a colorful cast. But today, we're focusing on 2 of these characters. Tiffany, the girl next door, and Jessie, the MILF. According to the game devs, Tiffany is a university student who's studying to become a nurse. Not only is she the head cheerleader for her school, but she's involved in several other extracurricular activities. She's kind to others and cares about the people closest to her. And unlike her friend Audrey, Tiffany is rather responsible with her actions and life choices. She is shown to limit her alcohol intake, focuses on her education, and maintains a healthy lifestyle. Tiffany never utters a bitter word against anyone, even when disappointed or angry. Meanwhile, her mom Jessie is a former adult film star who now does cam shows online. Because she wasn't able to experience the carefree youthfulness of her teens and 20s, she never outgrew her wild side and tends to overcompensate for those lost years. She began to hit a wall in her 30s as acting offers dried up and she had to retire. Now she feels used, unwanted, and lonely. She drinks, a lot, and will do anything for attention. Ever since Tiffany was young, Jessie has been her sole caretaker. Though after 20 years, Tiffany has distanced herself from her mom. The game wants you to think Jessie is a neglectful parent, a selfish, irresponsible party animal whose daughter became so disgusted with her that she left as soon as she had the chance. When in reality, Jessie is more the hooker with a heart of gold. As you socialize more with the girls, you learn their favorite colors, hobbies, height, weight, cup size, etc. Many of these are forgettable and only exist for the memory matching mechanic in-game. However, some of these are crucial to the Jessie-Tiffany relationship. We find that Jessie was born on January 27th, and Tiffany born on December 22nd. This will be important later, so remember that. Jessie is 36 to Tiffany's 20, meaning that Jessie had Tiffany while she was only 16. Using some basic knowledge of the human reproductive system, we can conclude that Jessie probably got knocked up around March, and if she was lucky, only finished her sophomore year of high school before Tiffany was born. And while we're on that topic, when you ask girls about their education in HuniePop, it is always stated in terms of college experience. When asked, Jessie tells you that she had to drop out of high school to care for her daughter. Conversely, Tiffany says she's enrolled in college. In fact, when you first meet Tiffany, she's pestering her professor Aiko about schoolwork. She prioritizes her education above everything else. Well, except cheerleading, because, come on. A schoolgirl, cheerleader with pigtails.
Swing! Swing! Tentpole! She's a bae!
But I don't think that Tiffany went about this on her own. Personally, I doubt that she is naturally gifted. Instead, I believe that Jessie instilled in her a strong respect for the importance of an education. She doesn't want Tiffany to go down the same path that she did. Tiffany, despite living close by, has decided to live on campus. She was so eager to remove herself from her mother's shadow that, despite having the option to stay home, she needed to get away. When we talk to Jessie about the importance of family, we say that family is the most important thing. She agrees, but says unfortunately her daughter rarely speaks to her anymore. But why did Tiffany break things off with her mom? Jessie is one of 2 characters in the game that regularly smokes. She asks you your opinions on smokers and you say, "I find it sexy." She sees this as a relief, glad that she can relax and be honest with herself in front of someone. Conversely, Tiffany hates the smell of smoke and says she hated growing up with her mother who did. A house smelling like smoke can be a big turnoff, but is that enough to cut ties with your family? Despite living on her own and being successful in school, Tiffany is very insecure. She could be timid when talking with you, and even after the 5th date is nervous to go back to your place. When dating her, Tiffany asks the player 3 questions regarding trust, loyalty, and celibacy. The ideal answers are to say that you haven't cheated on others, you still talk with your exes, and that you will remain exclusive while dating her. Tiffany doesn't want to date someone if they only see it as a fling. Getting spoiled by a guy until she puts out, only for him to get bored and leave her for someone else. She doesn't want to be a pump and dump like her mother. But alas, once you seal that 5th date and take her home, you glaze that muffin and peace out. The very next morning, you're back on the hunt for other girls. Growing up with a teen mom wouldn't have been easy. Jessie would have had youthful urges, spending money she didn't have, trying to date, and working around the clock. Sometimes leaving Tiffany with a sitter, or by herself at home. This environment would cause a lot of stress on both parties. Sitting home alone would grow dissent in Tiffany, while Jessie would be on shoots worried about her daughter. She couldn't possibly be expected to bring Tiffany on set. In fact, Tiffany probably didn't even know what her mom really did for a living. Jessie asks if little white lies are okay, and you agree. She says as long as no one gets hurt, right?
Can't spell families without lies, am I right?
But 20 years of putting on an act has left Jessie regretful. I'm sure she's glad her daughter doesn't know she's a porn star, but she also doesn't like that so much of their relationship is based on lies, even if the lies were to keep her safe.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things. That's what I can be.
No, you can't. You're not.
I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
Jessie asks if you can hold people accountable for their past mistakes. When you answer, she's glad you don't worry about the past and believe you can make the best of things. I'm sure when Jessie was 16, she regretted getting knocked up, but she made damn sure that she did the best she could for Tiffany as a single mom. Speaking of single moms, let's bring one other girl into the conversation, shall we? Kiana is another girl that can be dated in HuniePop. She's a hairdresser who never went to college because she had a kid. Every character has specific locations where you can meet them, Tiffany at school, or Nikki working at the coffee shop, for example. Kiana can be found at either the gym working out or the salon in the mall. Jessie too can be found at the mall, and judging by the fact that she's still a stone-cold fox, chances are that she gets her hair done at the only salon in town. Why does this matter? Because I believe that Jessie met Kiana and introduced her to Tiffany. You see, Tiffany babysits for Kiana, and I think that Jessie set them up. Why? 2 reasons. 1. Tiffany could easily fall into the same situation Kiana did, getting pregnant as a teenager and having to shift her life's priorities. Jessie is using Kiana as a scared straight program, showing Tiffany the importance of getting an education and not risking everything for a guy. 2. Jessie wants to show Kiana in a positive light as well. Kiana shows Tiffany how much responsibility taking care of a child can be. It's too much work for one person. She wants Tiffany to realize how much work she put into taking care of her as a child. Although Tiffany feels like she's been neglected, she couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, The only reason Jessie starts dating you is to keep you away from her daughter. She wants what's best for the younger generation, and she knows how hard it is to be a young and single mom. One of her departing lines is, "You stay away from those young girls, okay?" What comes off as flirting is in fact an honest statement. Stay away from my daughter. She knows what kind of guy you are and doesn't want you hurting Tiffany. She would rather go out with you herself, saving her daughter from inevitable heartbreak. Before I drop the final bomb, let's take a quick look at these characters' favorite seasons. Yeah, I can hear the eye rolling from here. Favorite season? That was clearly thrown in with favorite color and boob size to get the question count higher. Au contraire. Tiffany's favorite season is summer. Perhaps it's because she's a student with summers off, or maybe it was from memories of going to the water park with her mom as a kid. It's gotta be something, right? Maybe Tiffany has a soft spot for old Jessie. Meh. Let's look at Jessie. When asked, she says that her favorite season is winter, right around the holidays. All her special gifts are Christmas themed, and she holds the season in high regard. Okay, so she's a mom that likes Christmas and decorates the house. Who cares? I do. Tiffany's birthday, in her own words, is right before the holidays, December 22nd.
Mind blow number 1.
Tiffany being born was Jessie's greatest Christmas gift. She was pregnant in high school, left for Christmas break to have a baby, and then never came back. Every year, Christmas is not just a holiday, but a reminder of the best gift she ever received. Jessie loves her more than anything in the world, and yet Tiffany won't even speak to her anymore. So what has all this done to Jessie? Well, nothing good. She has internalized this pain, regret, and stress, and just bottled it all up. While other girls in the game have hobbies like baking, exercising, cheerleading, Jessie says her hobby is drinking. In fact, the bar is her favorite hangout. Jessie is definitely an alcoholic, but I wouldn't go so far as to call her a drunk. It's as if she's built up a defense against being
Wined and dined at 69.
She refuses to be taken advantage of and is always sharp no matter how much she drinks. The drinking, along with the smoking as touched on earlier, have become a coping mechanism, and she is no doubt depressed. She gave up everything for her daughter, and despite doing her best, Tiffany barely recognizes her existence. Now let's take a look at some of Jessie's art from HuniePop 2. Look at her cheeks, the rosy complexion and tired eyes. Classic drunk trope. Her hairstyle is more eccentric and she's bordering on a Karen cut. Her character model has a pack of cigarettes in her pocket. Though a smoker before, she was not nearly as heavy a user in the first game. Lastly, and probably the most telling, is her bio. Her hobby is still drinking, yet her occupation now says ex-porn star. Perhaps she fell out of favor with her fans, or maybe she couldn't keep up the act. One way or another, Jessie is out of work. And now for the kicker, personality, depressed. She was on the decline by the end of the first HuniePop, but now it's clear that things have derailed. Perhaps Tiffany finally snapped and moved away. Maybe she's sick from cigarette and alcohol abuse. Maybe she just feels inadequate, her self-esteem being tied solely to her looks, which are now quickly fading. And to think, if only a horny young dude didn't come along and ruin everything, maybe things could have been better. You had to be greedy. You couldn't just fall in love with one of the 12 girls and have a happy ending like in other Sims. No. You had to catch them all. The goth, the gamer, the school teacher, the hairdresser, the cat girl, the black girl, the mother, and the daughter. You monster. I can only hope that HuniePop 2 explores its characters in more depth this time around, and we can give Jessie the happy ending she deserves. Or maybe I'm overthinking all this. Perhaps the game devs just wanted to have their own version of Stifler's mom. But maybe, just maybe, this Candy Crush clone really is too deep for you.